Okay, I'm going to go over the assignment for career research. So in Google Classroom, under Chapter 6, you have the career research link that you're going to need, and you also have the textbook and workbook pages. Now you're doing career research, so that's going to be the pages that say career research. So you can go through and read those. They just give you a little bit of information about why you're doing this step in our workbook. And I have the pages linked here at the bottom, page 68 and page 69, in case you do not have access to your workbook. But you are filling it out on your workbook first. So you have to pick 3 jobs. So you're going to open up page 68 in your workbook. Okay, and then you also need to open up this career research link, which I have open here. And you're going to click on Explore Jobs if you're not already there. It'll take you to this screen. You need to pick 3 careers that appeal to you the most. So in the first part of Chapter 6, you were supposed to pick career clusters that you're interested in. So here under career clusters, you were supposed to pick several that you were interested in, and then here in Bring in Your Identity, you were supposed to narrow it down to 2. Now, the career clusters are actually listed here under the textbook and workbook pages under career clusters. Here it has the cluster named, and it has all of the types of jobs listed for examples for that cluster. It's not absolutely every single job ever that qualifies under there, but it's a good comprehensive list of jobs that fall under that type of cluster. So once you narrow it down to 2, you can look through here and pick 3 jobs total. So 2 clusters, 3 jobs. So that means one of them is going to have 2 jobs that interest you. So for this example that I'm using, I'm going to pick the arts and audio cluster, and I'm going to pick graphic designer. Okay, now on the next page, it finishes the clusters. I'm going to pick STEM, and I'm going to pick hydrologist and mechanical engineer. Okay, so I have my 3 jobs. So here on the first one, I'm going to list my first job. I'm going to do hydrologist. Of course, you're going to write it. I'm just putting it here so you can have a visual of how to do it. Okay, now that I know I want to do hydrologist, I can start my research for that one. For the second one, I'll type mechanical engineer on the next page, and then on the final page, I'll put graphic designer. So now I'm going to go to this link here where it says Occupational Profile. You're going to start typing it in, hydrologist, and you'll see it pops up. And then you need to pick the location from your Chapter 4 project where you want to work. I'm going to keep it in California. Then you'll click on search. What it's going to do is bring up the page for that occupation, so occupation profile. Before you go any further, you need to click on show more. It's going to bring up this option menu. You need to click on select all so it shows absolutely every single information window, and then click close. It already updated it. What it has here is a lot of comprehensive information about the job that you have chosen all the way down. And so now all we need to do is go down the list on our workbook page. So the first question asks you, what specific task would I perform on this job? For example, and it gives you an example. So this is asking for job duties. Like, what would you do as a hydrologist? Well, right here, the first tab tells you what do they do. Research the distribution, circulation, et cetera, et cetera. So you are going to write that down on this section. Okay, my formatting's a little off, but you get the point. It goes there. Okay, next question. What is the job environment likely to be? Is it compatible with the setting I wanted on page 57? Well, here it's not going to tell you the environment, so we actually need to open another Google tab and ask the question, what types of environments do hydrologists work in? Okay, and it tells right here they can do either outdoor and in offices. So we are going to go back here and we're going to put that here. Hydrologists can work in offices and outside. And then it asks you a question. Is this compatible with the setting that I said I wanted? on page 57. Now, these are going to have workbook pages, but these correspond with the activities that you were doing in my 10-year plan. So page 57 is actually physical settings from chapter 5. So you need to actually open up your My 10-Year Plan and go to chapter 5 and look at what physical settings you chose on that survey and see if they're compatible. If they are compatible, you'll say they are compatible with the physical settings that I chose in my survey. Okay, done. Then you move on to the next one. What would be the rewards of working at this job? Are they the same as the ones I listed on page 60? Now, we didn't do the activity for that one, so we're just going to focus on the first question. What would be the rewards of this job? Okay, so we're actually going to do a Google search. What are the rewards of working as a hydrologist? It tells you right here that the benefits include paid vacations and sick leave, hospitalization, life insurance, and pension plans. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to put that working as a hydrologist, you receive all the benefits like health, sick leave, paid vacations, and retirement. Okay, you leave it there. Next one, I would find this job particularly satisfying because, so you need to look at the bullseye from chapter 2. That's your personal profile. That's what this is talking about, page 11. You need to open it up and look at the rings. So why would you find this job satisfying? I like to study water tables and aquifers. Being a hydrologist would satisfy my curiosity about those things. And then you can list your passions, values, and interests if you want. But I just put an interest here because I said I like to study water and aquifers, and that would be interests. Okay, next one, is this job compatible with my work behavioral style? So you need to go back to chapter 2. Right? Chapter 2 or chapter 3. I forget which page 19 is. Let me just verify really quick. Yes, chapter 2. You took a survey in my 10-year plan that gives you your work behavioral styles, for example, like dominance or something else like that. So you're going to stick here what your result is. So what is the work style? And then you might have to do a little bit of searching for this one because we're talking about work styles. But you're going to go through and look for the information. So once you find that information, you'll come back here and you'll say if it matches your behavioral style or not. The next one, how much training or education would I need? Okay, that one you are going to go back to this website. Here it tells you education and experience to get started. People having this career have bachelor's degrees. And then when you come down here, it does say that nobody can work as a hydrologist unless they have a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, or a doctoral degree. So anything less than that will not work. So we're going to go back here. And you're going to put that you need a bachelor's degree in order to study as a hydrologist. And then it says, what kind of commitment? A minimum of a bachelor's degree in science is required for this career. I am willing to invest all of the time necessary for this. Because the second question asks you, what commitment am I willing to make? So that means, like, are you willing to go through all the school in order to do this job? The next one asks you about physical attributes or abilities. This is the one activity a lot of people had trouble with in chapter 5 when it asks you what are your physical abilities right now or your physical traits. When we go here, it's towards the bottom where it says abilities right here. Make sure you click on more abilities so that way it opens up all of them. You need to look for the ones that are physical. So like oral expression, that means you can communicate. Near vision, that means you can see. So those are like the only two. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to stick that here. I'm going to say being able to see close because that's a near vision. And then oral expression, that means you can speak well. I'll put oral expression there. And then it asks you, do I meet them? And you'll say yes or no. Like you already have those skills. Do you already have those skills? Yes or no? Then you're going to turn the page, go to number 8. What could I expect to earn as a beginner in this field? Okay, we're going to go back to this guy right here towards the top. It has information about salaries. It has a graph, it has a chart, and it has a table. Well, here you can see that the low amount in the United States and California. So we want to look at California. The low amount is 58,320. So here you're going to put 58,320. And then the next one asks you for mid-career salary. We're going to go back here. You're going to take the median, which is 95,290. Okay. Does this meet my salary requirements? You need to look back at chapter 4 for your budget total. Your budget total. Does it meet your salary requirements? There was, I think, one activity after that where it asks you what is the salary you need to maintain this. You need to list that here, what that salary was, and then click yes or no. The next question, will there be many job openings when I am ready to go to work? How might societal, economic, and technological changes impact this career? Ignore the second question, just answer the first one. Will there be many job openings when I'm ready to go to work? You're going to go back to this page here. Under Outlook and under Projected Employment, those are the two that you want to see. And there's also, I want to mention real quick that there's a little career video. They're usually pretty short. They also have the transcript, like if you just want to read it instead of watch the video or read it along as it's talking. So you can get a little bit more information about the job itself. Anyway, here you have Outlook. There will be will there be jobs? And then here you have the Projected Employment. Now it looks here like for California, they don't have information for it, but they do for the United States. Over here, it tells you that it looks bright because it's very likely you'll have opportunities in the future. This occupation is expected to grow much faster than average. So we are going to take this sentence here and we are going to put that under number 10. So I'm actually going to modify it a little bit so it makes more sense. I'm going to say, yes, there will be job openings because it is expected to grow much faster than average. Okay. Next question. What aptitudes, strengths, and skills does this job call for? Are they transferable to another career if I change my mind or this job title becomes obsolete? Okay, we're going to go back here. So this one's asking for what kinds of skills and things you need to do this job. Well, down here, it tells you that you need this knowledge, you need these skills, and there's more, and you need these abilities. So I know you can't write all of those on there, but just do the dark line. So just the the bold dark words you're going to add here. Are they transferable to another career if I change my mind? What it's asking is, like, if you were to stop being a hydrologist, can these different things, can they be used in other jobs? Most of the time, that's a yes. Okay, next question. What can I do today to begin preparing for this job? Okay, so now it's asking more specifically, like right now in high school, what can you do to start learning or figuring out if you like hydrology? So you can look for current hydrologists and ask them about their work. I can look up volunteer programs over the summer or it's not called apprentice, intern programs over the summer. So that means like you could go work for a college or something and learn about hydrology. So there's like programs like that over the summer, kind of like a summer camp, but not really. Okay, and then the next thing asks you, so this is not going to be the same for everybody, but these are just a couple ideas to give you. What classes must I take in high school to qualify for this job? Okay, well, we know that this job, you have to have at least a bachelor's degree. So that means I have to go to college. So that means my classes have to line up with getting into college. There's certain classes you have to take for that. So we're going to say, I need to make sure I am ready for college admission by meeting the, I think it's A through G requirements. I also need to take math to calculus and open another text box. Science up to physics to prepare for this field. Okay, so this is literally asking like what classes can you take in high school, not this year, but next year, your junior year, your senior year. What are the classes that you need to do to take and pass in order to qualify for this job? Well, you need to get into college, and these are the requirements. A through G, it might actually be I, I'm not 100% certain. Also need to take math and calculus. Why? Because this is a science field and you're going to use a lot of math and you use a lot of science. So you want to take all the math and all the science classes that are available. Where in this town or state could I find a job in this field? Okay, we're going to go back here. Here where it says find job openings. It's under the Outlook. Okay, in California. And it tells you literally the states. There's going to be tons and tons of pages, most likely. So I want to actually narrow it down more to Bakersfield. Okay, it says there are no jobs for hydrologists in Bakersfield. Okay, well, let's try the next big city, Fresno. Nothing. Okay, let's try Los Angeles. Nothing. All right, so if you get results like this, just go back to California and then let's see where in California those results were coming up. Sacramento, Hemet. Okay, so Sacramento and Hemet. So we're going to go here and we're going to say there are no jobs available in my area. However, there are job openings in Sacramento, California, and Hemet, California. Bam. Answering that question. Now, it's not going to always pop up like that. Some of you will see jobs in Bakersfield, but you just list out what pops out. How does this career mesh with my family plans? Is it consistent with my desired lifestyle? Does it offer opportunities for flexible hours or part-time work? Is income high enough so I could maintain my family on it alone if necessary? Could I afford the kind of daycare I'd like for my children? This is a lot of questions for one prompt. You work on it one by one and make sure you answer each one. So first, how does this career mesh with my family plans? Okay, well, you need to think back to chapter 4. What was your family profile? Are you married, single, kids, etc.? How does it work with that? Well, we'll figure that out by looking at these other questions. Is it consistent with my desired lifestyle? So, can I make enough money in order to live the way that you did in your project? Yes or no? Does it offer opportunities for flexible hours or part-time work? I don't think I saw that on here. So you might have to do a Google search. I can tell you right now that it's going to be flexible and it's going to be full-time work. So I would put here, it has full-time flexible hours. Is the income high enough so I can maintain my family on it alone? This question is asking, like, if you are married and your spouse loses their job, is your job enough to pay for all the bills and everything? Like if you guys were to live on one income, yes or no? Could I afford the kind of daycare I'd like for my children? That depends on what your family profile was. Usually you would say yes or no. Next question. Are there opportunities for self-employment in this field? Like to be your own boss, to own your own business, freelance work, consulting. Freelance would be like you're a contractor. Okay, here it's not going to really have that information, so we're going to have to Google it again. So we're going to ask, can hydrologists, own their own businesses? It looks like no. It looks like you work for people. So we're going to go back here and we're going to put no, hydrologists only work for companies or the government. Okay, and then finally the last one, I spelled government wrong. Government. The last one, you have to actually draw a timeline for the previous 10 years and the now 10 years. So here, what you're going to do is draw a number line. Oops. I'm on the wrong tool. Let's make it a little thicker. Okay. You're going to draw an actual number line. Okay. Here we have 2030. Why 2030? Because it says 10 years. In the next 10 years, why aren't you marking? Anyways, it says in the next 10 years, and then it says in the last 10 years. So we have today, which is 2020. And then we have 10 years ago, which is 2010. Okay, and then you have the midpoints, right? That's 2015 and that's 2025. Now, most of you will have numbers here. I just picked a bad example and mine does not have numbers, but we'll use the United States numbers. So I'm just going to click back a couple of times to get back to my main screen. And I'll show you where you're going to pull your information for this timeline. Okay. Here in this area where it says projected employment. Now, for your state, you should have numbers. Most of them will have numbers. Mine just, I had the bad luck of choosing an example that did not. But we'll use the United States numbers. That's totally fine. So in 2018, there was this many hydrologists employed. In 2028, it predicts there will be this many. So that means it's a 7% change and about 800 jobs are added every year. So now you have to do a little bit of math. We need 2030. That's 2 years away from 2018. If you grow by 800 every year, then you need to add the growth to this, 2 years worth of growth. So 2 years is going to be 800 times 2, which is 1,600. 8 times 2 is 16. Add the 2 zeros, 1,600. So I'm going to add 1,600 to this number. That gives me 8,700. Now I'm going to go back here. I'm going to put here 8,000. I have to use my mouth, so I do apologize. 8,700 jobs. Okay. Now we need to find out how many there are for today, like 2020. Well, this is 2 years away from 2020. So again, we're going to add 1,600. That gives you 8,300. How did I get that number, you ask? It grows by 800 every year. We're 2 years away from 2020, so we need to add 2 years worth of growth. That's 800 times 2, which gives you 1,600. Add that to this. That gives you 8,300. Okay, 8,300 jobs. I'm sorry, my mouse is so loud. Okay, and then now we need to figure out the 2010 number. So that's going to take a little bit more math. I'm probably going to have to bust out my calculator. So if in 2018 there was this many and it grows by 800 jobs, remember this is not perfect. I'm going to go here and do my calculator. So that means I need to subtract 8 years worth of growth. So 8 times 800 gives you 6,400. Well, that seems like a problem, doesn't it? 6,400. So 6,700 minus 6,400 is going to give you 300, which is probably not true, but we're just using estimation, so that's totally fine. So we're going to say in 2010, there were only 300 hydrologists working in the entire United States, which I can guarantee you is not correct, but we're just going to use those numbers. That is fine. And that's all you have to do. There's your timeline. Okay, so that concludes this video, which I was hoping to get done quickly, but it's a little bit longer than I anticipated. If you still have questions, if you still need help, please make sure you come to office hours or email me or send me a remind text.